All right, good Monday morning. Hope you had a nice weekend. Weather's changing in a big way as we go into this brand new work week. A work week where people have to kind of get back into the swing of things. People coming off of their holiday time off, especially the kids. They had winter break. Well, guess what? Now it's time to go back to school. This is First Alert Chief Meteorologist Steve Balon in the First Alert Weather Center. And let's take a look at First Alert Viper Max. It is a clean sweep across northeast Wisconsin. Despite the overcast skies, we are dry. Last night we did have some snow and some mixed precipitation, mainly in the evening. It was pretty much all gone by midnight, but it's left behind some slippery travel. Our severe weather outlook is in the low category this morning. Slippery streets, variable road conditions, probably more snowpacked in the north and more wet to icy farther south. Temperatures will not be warming up very much. I don't expect a rapid improvement, but the road crews are out and about, and they will continue to improve the streets. And as the morning wears on, things will slowly get better. Just take it easy. If you're walking on driveways, sidewalks, and parking lots, they could also be a bit slick. Here's a live view from our Green Bay Skycam. In the foreground is the Mason Street Bridge. In the background is a look at Lambeau Field, and you can see the overcast skies. Temperature is 30 degrees, wind chill 24, west-northwest wind at 6 miles an hour. Forecast for today, a lot of clouds. There might be some patchy sun in the north, maybe, if we go towards the midday and early afternoon. Temperatures inching their way through the lower half of the 30s, a high of 33 degrees. We'll be in the upper 20s this evening as our next weather maker shows up. Another round of some light freezing rain, freezing drizzle into early Tuesday morning, creating more icy pavement. So we're issuing another First Alert weather day for tonight into Tuesday morning. And look at the map. The National Weather Service is posting a winter weather advisory across central Wisconsin. It starts 9 o'clock this evening and lasts until noon tomorrow. This is for all the blue shaded areas north and west of the Fox Valley. Even outside that winter weather advised area in the Fox Valley and across east central Wisconsin, I would definitely be on your toes if you're traveling tomorrow morning. So we've got one weather maker moving out. That's pushing snow into the eastern side of the Great Lakes. Hot on its heels, another area of low pressure out in the high plains out towards Nebraska and Kansas. And as that tracks towards the lower Great Lakes tonight and tomorrow, we're going to have another round of some wintry weather. So here's a look at First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. A lot of clouds. You can see that hole in the overcast skies in the north woods that may or may not develop. So if there's going to be some patchy sun, that is more likely north as opposed to south. We'll have cloudy skies 7 o'clock this evening, probably dry. If you have any travel plans early in the evening, I'm not too worried. But after our newscast at 10 o'clock, you could see that freezing drizzle developing. That's that pink color across central Wisconsin into the pre-dawn hours of Tuesday. So here's 7 o'clock Tuesday morning. People heading back out to work, back out to school. It might be pretty icy across east central and central Wisconsin with freezing drizzle and freezing rain. I think as temperatures climb above the freezing mark, we'll see a little bit less icing as we go into the midday. And in the afternoon, any freezing drizzle or regular rain showers will come to an end. So we should be cloudy but dry heading into tomorrow night. This is First Alert Pinpoint Predictors. Ice accumulation, also known as ice accretion. And a tenth of an inch of ice is a possibility across central Wisconsin, maybe 2/10 of an inch across central portions of the state. Yeah, that's going to be enough to cause a glaze to form on some untreated streets. So keep an eye on that, as it might be very slippery tomorrow morning. These are temperatures. They're at and below freezing, right at 32 degrees in Manitowoc and in Sheboygan. 30 degrees in Appleton, lots of 20s to the north and west. We're at 26 in Marinette, and it's 25 degrees in Wausau. Wausau north up into Rhinelander, thinly foggy conditions, nothing overly thick. But it's definitely noticeable. It feels kind of on the damp side out there. And with multiple days with highs in the 30s all the way through Saturday, as we get above the freezing mark, we're going to continue to gradually melt away our snowpack. As that snow melts and evaporates, and just kind of hovers in the lower portions of the atmosphere. That's probably going to mean a bunch of days with a lot of low clouds and maybe some areas of fog. So tonight and tomorrow morning, first alert weather day, icy drizzle possible. Mostly cloudy skies through the midweek. There might be some showers check that, Thursday night. And then the real thing to watch in the long range is Friday night into Saturday. That would not surprise me if it becomes a first alert weather day. We may be looking at a storm system heading into the weekend that produces several inches of snow. So this is a comparison of two major global computer models, the American GFS model and the European model, and they're both advertising higher snowfall totals, half a foot or more across the area. As a fresh reminder, these long-range snowfall forecasts, they can change frequently as we get new data. And the track can change, the amount of moisture can change, and so it's best not to look at these numbers as being carved in stone. They will fluctuate between now and Saturday, but you get the general gist. There's a lot of potential heading into the weekend for a significant storm, and that'll obviously have some big travel implications. So Saturday could very easily become a first alert weather day. As we get new data, we'll update you and keep you informed, especially since next weekend I'm sure you've got some big plans, and you probably want to know about that snow, which could really snarl things. Whether it's the freezing drizzle tonight and tomorrow morning, or if it's the snow coming in on Saturday, keep on top of that forecast by using our free WBAY First Alert Weather app. If you scan the QR code on the left side of the screen, you can get that for free, which definitely is a great thing to have this time of year. So coming up on Action 2 News at noon and at 4, meteorologist Nolan Kane will have an update on what's going on with the freezing drizzle tonight, and he'll have some fresh data to look at in regards to the snow potential as we go into Saturday. We'll see what happens, but this will definitely be a storm system that could be rather impactful across the region. And also keep in mind that Saturday evening is when the Packers take on the Bears down in Chicago, so we could have a lot of people who are trying to travel south and are dealing with several inches of snow, and that might cause quite a big headache. All right, so I think that's about all I've got to say about the weather. Down in the newsroom, we've got Emerson Lehman, and we also have Tammy Elliott, and they are letting us know about what's going on with some scam information, I think, guys. Unfortunately, I can't hear you. We're having some technical issues, but I'm going to let you guys pick it up right where I'm leaving it off right here.
All right, Steve, thanks so much. We appreciate that as we're taking a live look at Lambeau Field on this Monday morning. Tammy, we were talking about it on Action 2 News this morning. It is Packers-Bears week for the third time this year, which is something to be excited about. Even, we're 1-1 against the Bears so far this season. Almost was 2-0, but that fourth quarter, I guess you could call it a fourth quarter collapse a few weeks ago. But that's all behind us now. It's the playoffs, fresh start for everybody, and always a lot of excitement when it's any playoff week for the Packers, but starting them off against the Bears, that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I think people are going to be really excited about this. I know it's in Chicago. I mean, that atmosphere is going to be
incredible,
intense.
Yes.
So, really looking forward to it and getting you pumped up for the game.
We're going to have lots to talk about throughout the week leading up to that big game Saturday night at 7 o'clock. So
we get to stay up and watch it.
We get to stay up, exactly. We're kind of thinking, if it's Sunday night or even that Monday night game, which would have been cool to have it on WBAY TV, but selfishly we get to say, we get to actually stay up and watch and not worry about waking up super early the next morning. So we'll be cheering them on, and we'll have more again throughout the week. Our sports team will be working hard. We'll have some news coverage as well, so make sure to stick with us throughout the week as we lead up to the big playoff game. Right now, though, it is January 5th, 2026, our first Monday of the new year, and we are going to kind of recap some of the big scams that we were keeping an eye out for in 2025, because unfortunately the scammers, they don't just stop at year's end. It carries over. So these are still things people are probably going to want to be on the lookout for this year.
Right. And everything I'm hearing, talking with consumer experts, they're really going to ramp up. And technology is only going to continue. Scammers will use it to their advantage. Love the title of the story here. Our our webmaster, Ted,
Web
came
guru,
up with this.
yeah.
Yes, our web guru. The worst scams and best people of 2025. I thought it was really important here, Emerson, to highlight all of the good people in Northeast Wisconsin who talked with us and shared their stories. And what I really hear from people is they're a little bit nervous about talking about it. There's some embarrassment that goes into this, but the bottom line is they know that they can help other people out by sharing their stories, talking about a bank impersonation scam. I talked with several people this year about that. That was a really prevalent scam. Text messages that come in impersonating your bank, your credit union, and making you think then that when someone calls you, it is from your actual bank, and pretending to be either a fraud officer or an investigator. And we have people losing money to that. And this one quote kind of sticks with me. Jill, one of the victims I talked with, she said, "I'm haunted by it every day. I can't get the money back, but I'm hoping I can help stop someone else."
And like you mentioned, I mean, this is, you can see, losing thousands of dollars. People are very scared. They're like you said, embarrassed. But to have that courage to speak up and say, you know what, yes, this happened to me, but I'm not going to let it happen to someone else. That really speaks volumes to their character and wanting to help out with people.
Absolutely. And then I had a man in Wapaka County. He shared his family emergency story, and someone impersonating his voice, his parents, his elderly parents, he said, thought it sounded like him on the phone saying there was an emergency, and he happened to be camping, so he wasn't home at the time. And they were in the bank, standing at the teller line. They were ready to withdraw money, and they said, "Wait a minute, let's talk about this. This could potentially be a scam. Let's call Mark and see how he is." And he said, of course, got him on the phone finally, and his mom was crying, and he said he was very upset by this, but the bank was able to help them stop this. So, I have different stories from people. Some saying, it wasn't caught. Others saying, the bank was able to, in this case, help stop it. Another really, I just can't stress enough about the text messages. We talked about that so often. People getting text messages, whether it was from, a bank impersonation or a text saying, you had fines due, jury.
The DMV, right? The DMV reaching out to people.
Was a huge one. You'll remember those from the summer. They just came in like this huge wave. And the reason why, a lot of people say, why are they all of a sudden using text messages? And consumer experts will say that it is a quick, easy, inexpensive way for scammers to just blast these messages out. And then what they're hoping is that you're going to reply to it. You're either going to click on it or call a phone number. You never want to do that.
I like how you have the line right here toward the bottom of the screen, an alarming explosion involving cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I feel like every month there was a new some way that scammers were using Bitcoin to scam these people out of money as well.
This is really an explosion is absolutely what it was. I mean, we used to talk a lot about people, scammers using gift cards, pay with gift cards or wire money. Now it's go to a cryptocurrency or Bitcoin machine. They look like ATMs. They are not ATMs, but they'll say you need to pay your fine or you need to take your money out of the bank to move your money to protect your money. If you hear that line, that is a scam. And so much money is being lost to these cryptocurrency and Bitcoins. I talked to a police captain in Manitowoc who said, basically, he's had reports of people losing their life savings, and he said their heart breaks for the people that they are, working hard their whole life, and then hearing that they've got to move their money to protect their money, and they go to the Bitcoin ATM.
And once it's in that ATM, it's gone. You're not getting that
It is so
back.
hard to track. So a couple of things. If you're hearing urgency, you got to go do this right now. A lot of the people who have been victims of this tell me urgency, and also don't tell anyone about this.
Sure.
That is the opposite. You actually want to reach out to someone you trust, family member, someone that you trust. Go to the bank, actually call up someone on a number that you know is good. And the other thing is just your gut instinct. And a lot of people that I talk with, they say, at one point I kind of thought it seemed odd, so that's when you stop. Because if you think about it, someone who's really with law enforcement or the bank is not going to make you do this urgently. Say, don't hang up.
And these random tasks and whatnot,
right?
sure.
Yeah, random things. So, just really was very grateful for all the people who talked to me. And then we even had something that I've never covered. So I've been doing consumer alerts, scam reports for, 12, 13 years. Never covered fake Pokemon cards.
That was one of my favorite stories that you did this
Right?
year. And I didn't grow up as a Pokemon person, but there's a lot of, it's kind of experiencing a boom right now, I would say, where even a lot of parents you'll see are taking their kids to these trade card shows, and there's a lot of scammers, there's a lot of money to be made.
A lot of money to be made, and a lot of scammers out there creating these fraudulent cards, fake cards, the knockoffs. And the local card shop that we talked to in Green Bay said it's mostly kids who are getting scammed. You know, they're coming in, they think they got this really cool card.
They don't know any better.
They don't know. So that was a really great story, being able to show people side-by-side comparisons. I learned a lot from that story.
Yeah.
I had that is just not in that. I'm not in that space.
We've got a cheat code. Our producer Garrett, very big
our
into
morning
that.
producer.
So he was able to.
Yeah.
It was fun to listen to him. He actually joined us on our live stream and gave us an inside look to things, and it was so fascinating to learn about that because, as you said, we really haven't spent much time in that landscape.
Right. And then go back to Medicare scams. I think this is something to talk about with your grandparents, your parents, anyone you know who uses Medicare, that they try to trick you in many ways to tell you that you've lost your benefits or you've got a new card coming, but you need to give information. Talked with a woman locally too. And she was just heartbroken over this because she did give up her number and she had to get a new Medicare number. She had medical devices arriving at her house. She didn't order any of them. She didn't need any of them. And that is fraud. That's a major fraud that's happening. So just really trying to highlight just a few. It's about a 2.5 minute story if you go to our website.
We'll show people here. So you've had plenty of awesome stories throughout the year. These are just kind of breaking the surface on a few of them. So you can find this website right here, or we'll just follow along right here. So if you go to our Meet the Team page on our WBAY website, and then you head down to Tammy Elliott right there. I love this feature because every single story that Tammy has done pops up, even her We the People stories as well, not just Consumer First Alerts, but all these stories right there. So just as we said, Tammy, scammers, they don't take a break, unfortunately, and you do a fantastic job. There's that Pokemon story, bringing awareness to all of that. So if you heard about any of these, or you're thinking, oh, I should go see what's out there, what I should be on the lookout for, just head to WBAY.com and go to our Consumer First Alert tab up top as well. That'll show you everything you need to know with the scams that are taking place across Northeast Wisconsin.
I was noticing.
Yeah.
I was going to just give a quick tip about Googling, or just putting in your search engine. If you have a question, you can copy and paste some of the text messages that you get, and then put the word scam in with it. Or if you get a letter, or if you get an email or something, oftentimes you'll find that. Or go to the Better Business Bureau, go to the DATCP. We have all those lists or those links for you. Just to stay on top of that, and you have to be your own best advocate. And also education is key to this, and that's what we try to do every week. I tell people when I'm asking them if they'll share their story, if they'll do an interview with me, we're all about educating people, and really appreciate all those wonderful folks who talked with me over the last year, and look for my reports to come every week again.
Looking forward to them.
Action 2 News,
And we want to, lastly here, a cool piece of news over the weekend for those in the Catholic Church. The Diocese of Green Bay announcing right here that Adele Bryce, the steps are being taken to potentially start the path to sainthood. So she is the farm girl from Champion, the shrine, of course, out there. She was reported to have seen the Virgin Mary that came to her. And
this was like back in 1859,
some years ago, and they've announced that they are starting. It's a very in-depth, lengthy process to try and get someone canonized as a saint, but they have begun that process. So just something to follow along with. We first alerted you to that over the weekend, and continuing to follow along and hopefully maybe speaking with the diocese today.
And the story is online, and the bishop is asking for people, and this is going to be like grandmas of going back.
Going way back in the family archives.
If anybody has any stories or anything
letters,
like that, letters, anything that kind of go along with this, they are putting out the call for that. So that's kind of interesting. So we'll be following up on that as well.
An American Pope, perhaps a Northeast Wisconsin saint. We'll have to see and follow along. But so much to look forward to in the new year. We appreciate you joining us again for this Monday morning check-in. Look forward to continuing these in the new year as well when we're able, and wishing you all a wonderful Monday. Many of you I know headed back to work on this Monday. The kids headed back to school. Hopefully they haven't forgotten
getting back into
the routine of everything.
Remembering your locker combination.
Yeah, that could be tricky. You got to write that down before the long winter break. But yeah, we will continue to be here working for you, first alerting you. So keep joining us, whether it be on air, online with our live streams as well. Action 2 News is available wherever and whenever you want us. So make sure to keep tuning in and have another live look at Lambeau Field. Pack headed south this weekend to take on the Bears in the NFC wildcard matchup. We'll be cheering them on from Green Bay. Have a good one, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow on Action 2 News starting at 4:30.